Hello and welcome, everybody out there in Union Arena Land. I hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Today, we are doing something a little special where I am going over all of the FMA lists and I'm going to be telling you the masterclass crash course on each of these decks. We're going to be rating them, talking about how they match up inside of our current meta, if you should take them to Gen Con, what you should anticipate if you're going to play against them in Gen Con, everything that you need. Now, to clarify something, I have been playing FMA for the past 2 months in all of my spare matches. I haven't really cared about learning any of the current decks. FMA is one of my favorite IPs, and despite it just being one of my favorite IPs, it has some of the most fun gameplay I have seen in any deck. So, without further ado, how about we talk about the one that most people are highly anticipating, the Roy Mustang deck. Oh, geez, this one is a doozy. So, the Roy Mustang deck plays quite a bit differently than many of the heavy removal decks that are out there. Though technically, this is a deck that has 8 removals in it, like many of the other top tier decks in our meta. The difference with this one is its card selection, its card filtering, its innate card draw, and the reason its removal is kind of questionable at times, but I'm here to tell you it is deadly removal. So, Roy Mustang himself is a 5 drop, 1 AP Raider 4K. If you have no cards in hand, this character has Impact 1. That line of text is very important. When played, you draw a card. Very good already. And when you attack, place any number of cards from your hand into your sideline. Choose up to one character with 1,000 or less BP on your opponent's front line and sideline it. For each card placed from your hand into your sideline with this ability, add 1,000 to the BP range of the character you can choose with this ability. If you sideline a character with this ability, you may place one additional card from your hand into your sideline. If you do, that character is placed into the removal area instead, which means it doesn't trigger its win sideline effects. That can be very good. And in certain decks that are trying to, I don't know, reanimate their characters, that one additional card to go remove it from the game can be very good for you. And anybody who may not know what reanimate is, it is all the cards that say take it from your sideline and more or less you can play it directly into play. Now, on the surface, people are going to read this and be like, discard 4 cards, kill a 4K? No, I'm never going to do that. Hear me out. The deck has this really weird ability. It's called synergy, where you play other cards, gain other ways to minus the BPs, and then you're only discarding like 2 cards in order to do it. And you know what other card in the current meta is only discarding 1 or 2 cards to kill things? Senju Maru. She's insane. This guy is also insane. The difference is his is not a win played ability, it's a win attacking. That is why Roy Mustang in this deck is the most deadly threat. If you get to attack, remove something, and untap with him, at minimum, if you AP draw, you're going to be able to go, ooh, I can kill another 2K and give him impact. And there's other ways to put additional cards into your hand, either after attacking or on your next following turn, meaning you're not missing out on your actions. It's a very good card. It's not always going to be a removal the turn it comes out, or it might just kill something that's fodder instead, and you're saying, we're going to race like this. But this card is absurd. Now, there's one other Raider inside of the deck, and that's Riza Hawkeye. Again, remember that other word I used earlier? Synergy? Right there. So, when played, you choose something with 1,500 or more BP on your opponent's front line. It loses 1,000 BP until the end of the turn. Then, you look at the top 4 cards of your deck, you choose one of them, put it back on top of your deck, and put the other 3 onto the bottom of your deck. That part is kind of unfortunate. I don't like doing that. It does get to line up your draws to have ideal draws coming in the future. But a lot of the times you can look and go, I'm getting 2 cards to the bottom. That's unfortunate. But this deck filters through itself so incredibly well. You'll sometimes know what's already on the top of your deck. You're like, I don't want to possibly get rid of that. Or it's going to be fine. You're going to find more cards or just filter through the deck anyways. It also has an active main if on the front line, same line of text. If it has 1,500 or more BP, minus 1K, meaning the turn you play her, you minus 2K something, meaning now the other guy, you remember him? Yeah. Discard 2 cards, kill 4K. Woohoo! Yeah, a lot better just off of that one play. These two cards are insanely synergistic, very controlling, very good. And at a minimum, if they're prioritizing Roy like they should be, they're leaving Riza in play, which means you can make sure they don't have any favorable blocks with anything potentially bigger than 4K. And a lot of the times, even just remove some of their fodder blockers. Now, this effect cannot kill any characters, but you can still go, ooh, you have a 3.5 and I was going to attack with a 3, make that a 2.5 instead. You need active triggers to keep dealing with me. But these are the bread and butter of the deck. The two cards are insane. But let's go all the way and start with why I'm running the deck, how I am running it. We are running a 10-7 split in this deck, which is kind of absurd. We have 10 zeros and 7 1-drops. Now, when you see the zeros we are running, you will realize why that is. We have first the Get Trigger Riza for the raid. We're only playing her as a 3 of, but that's because we have plenty of other raid targets as well. We're not hurting on those at all. The Roy is a 4 of, because honestly, he's the most important one. And some of his other cards you necessarily don't want to raid over top of. You can just use them as their bases. And then we are playing Vato. Vato is a card that is meant for the Briggs deck, but he also has that special line of text that everybody's in love with: draw a card and then sideline a card. He's one of the ways that you get to filter through your deck. Not to mention, draw trigger is insanely good. I went out of my way to put 13 card triggers or draw triggers into the deck. There are other choices you can make. You can lower that down a little bit, but you are a deck that's not playing for your life to save you. You are playing to kill your opponent. And remove what they have in play. So moving along, you'll see why we have 7 1-drops. First off, Riza. Draw trigger, 2K, 1-drop. Not bad, right? Very on par, very normal, very standard. When you play her, look at the top 2, put any number of them back on top or onto the bottom. Meaning, just playing her, you can look at the top 2 and go, I'm digging for what I need. These are not it. That's technically not as good as drawing 2 cards, but it stops you from drawing bad cards. And it stops you from bricking or flooding with just zeros and ones. It is a fantastic card, fantastic ability, and it's a Riza raid target. We're going to be running those. And as a 3 of is the 1-cost Roy Mustang. Nullify Impactor, and if you have no cards in hand, he is a 3K. There's a reason I'm playing him as a 3 of and said sometimes you don't want to raid over top of him. You will gladly raid over top of him if you need to kill something really quickly, and that's your only option. But the fact that he can be a 3K and Riza can minus their 4K blocker down to a 3K means, okay, you're picking up what I'm putting down. Yeah, 3K smash, hee hee. But moving right along, we start going over the 2-drops. Now, some people don't play him as a full 4 of. I think those people are incorrect. No trigger is not enough to convince me to not play this Roy Mustang as a 4 of. He has the same text as Riza. Something with 1500 or more BP, minus 1K on play as a 3K body. You can synergize him with your Roy going, I play this card, I raid my Roy, now I only have to discard 3 to kill your 4K. Or if you had a 3K, I only have to discard 2 cards. Or if you had a 2K, play that Roy minus 1K, raid this Roy, discard no cards. Minus 1K. It's gone. Bye-bye. Yeah. Very, very, very good. Keep in mind his range is 1 and then it's multiplied by that, I believe, right? Front line, sideline, pull from here and sideline with this ability. Add one that no, it's not multiplicative. So yeah, if you're doing a 2K, you're discarding 1 card. Insane. Nope. Yeah. It's 1 plus the number of cards. So the math is even better for you all the way through. Sorry, I'm just double checking to make sure I don't sound like an idiot with all of this. I'm sure you guys understand. I've been playtesting. I've been playing them. This deck is absurd. It is way better than people think. But yes, the ability to not discard this card, but play him to do the effect makes it a mandatory 4 of, in my opinion. If you want to try minusing him and going up on a 1 cost, sure, go right ahead. But I'm telling you, he's really, really, really good. Now, next up is the blue color trigger, May Hughes. Oh, this guy is so good. So once per turn, you can sideline a card from your hand to make him a 4K. Okay, that's fine. When he's sideline, if you have 2 or less cards in hand, you draw a card. That's pretty good because he's a potential 4K attacker who's only a 3K, so your opponent can easily pop him, and at least he replaces himself, meaning you're going to have better action economy than your opponent. You're drawing more finals, you're drawing more specials, more raiders, everything. Every time you draw a card, you are gaining minute amount of advantages over your opponent that you're going to be able to win with. Speaking of drawing a card, Riza, no trigger, sad. Double energy, glad. When played, if Roy Mustang, draw a card. You're going to have a Roy Mustang in play, so you're going to draw a card with her. If you don't have a Roy in play, maybe reevaluate how you built your deck. There's a reason we're so high on Roys. We're at what? 4, 8, 9, 10, 11 raid targets, and then 4 of the raiders himself. You want to be able to do that. We already went over Riza. We know why she's so good. Let's go over to the last card that's specifically meant for this package, and that is the military is in trouble. If you sideline a whole bunch of stuff from your hand with your Roy in order to kill something, then you go, okay, I'm only down to only like 1 or 2 cards, untap the next turn. I'm not sure what I'm going to be able to do. Or you go completely empty-handed and top deck this card, draw 2 cards, and if you have only 2 cards in hand, draw an additional card. That is absurd. Draw 3 cards is the baseline of where these cards start becoming worth the action. If it's draw 2 cards for it, that's like discarding a card to AP draw. Like it's not like it's better than that, right? It's just replacing itself. It's not that good. But when you get 3 cards, it is absurd. And this deck controls the number of cards in your hand better than anybody. If you go, I'm going to activate Maze Hughes with my second to last card, discard that one. He's now a 4K. Now I'm going to play this other card as the last card in my hand, draw 2. I only have 2 in play, draw my third one. You've just lined up 3 cards and filtered through your deck so much faster. You know Rukia Raid? You know why she's so good? Because she draws 3 cards. These cards are insane. But moving past that, of course, we have our events, our finals, and our specials. Standard specials, standard finals, all of that's normal. With everything that we have here, I have built this deck to have 3 flex spots, and only 3. And I've put the 2 cards I think are the most valuable in that flex spot. And depending on how you want to play the matchup is which one you play or how many of which ones you play. Now, 5-2 Louis, in my opinion, is one of the most overtuned cards printed in recent sets. It's insane. He is a base 4.5k, meaning none of the blue bounce cards can bounce him. Yuji Raid, no bouncy. Ichigo, 4-2 in blue, no bouncy. So you're not losing out on 2 AP just by playing him and your opponent goes, all right, do it again. Because that's honestly what stops a lot of 2 AP cards from being good is those bounce mechanics. If you're going to sideline him, that's one thing because you're not getting a body off of that sideline, right? You're discarding a card to kill him, and that is perfectly okay because that means Roy, who's a bigger threat, stays in play longer. The thing that makes this card insane is that it is a damage 2, and once per turn when this character attacks and wins a battle, draw 2 cards. So your opponent has to go, all right, you just swung in with Roy, you discarded cards, killed my biggest threat, potentially leaving my fodder, or better yet, you swung in with Roy, killing the fodder, leaving only my threat. Do I want to lose my threat, giving you 2 cards, or just take 2 damage? It's a very hard decision to make, and anytime you can open up your opponent to make a wrong decision is a time that you are going to gain an advantage, especially if you're not making the wrong decisions. I am personally playing him as a 3 of in this deck because if I need to loot him, I'll loot him. I'll draw him, sideline him, no problem. But if he's going to be insane in any of those blue matchups, yeah, I'm just going to play his ass. He's a brick wall. He's insane. But the other card you can play instead, Edward. This card is insanely good. Do not undervalue him whatsoever. When played, you may add one of your life cards to your hand, so you lose a life. But if you do, you set him to active. For only 1 action, you can have a 4K set to active character. That's very good. It is the cost of the life, but you add it to your hand. You don't sideline it. That's really, really good. The other part of him, you can place 2 cards from your hand into your sideline to give him impact. When you need to push that little bit of extra damage through and kill your opponent, that line of text is going to be very, very good. Especially when discarding those 2 cards can give him impact. And now look, your Roy has impact. Or, now that you have less cards in hand, when this May Hughes dies, you're going to be drawing a card. It's all synergistic, it's all good. The Edward is better in more aggressive matchups. The Alex is better if you want to incentivize your opponent to make wrong decisions, or if you're not going to be seeing across from 20 removals. If the deck has only 8 removals, it's going to be hard for them to deal with this. If they have 12 removals, it's going to be easy for them to deal with. But you just need to get through them anyways and finish the game as quickly as possible. I like both of these cards. I think that this deck and this build of it is kind of where you're just stuck at. There is a few other options you can take. You don't necessarily have to play Vato. Instead, you can opt out of the draw trigger and get an active trigger instead, and then play Hayate. Look at the top 3, reveal of Riza. You don't play any Kind. Kind's not played in the deck. You don't need to. And add it to your hand on a 0 cost. If it hit Roy or Riza, yes. But the fact that it only hits Riza, no. I don't think that you can honestly afford to bottom deck your Roys in this deck or any of your other threats in order just to seek out a Riza. I think we have enough innate card advantage and card filtering that your top deck should be good enough organically without searching needing to happen. Outside of that, if you want just a good active trigger card, Louis. You can drop the Drawler Discarder and play Louis. He's a 2K active trigger. Personally, I like the card filtering on Draw Discard. I'm going to be sticking with this one in the future. And my ideal version of this deck, again, is 3 Louis. Now, however you want to do it is completely your business. I don't believe there was anything else inside of all of this that was worth mentioning. Oh, yes. If you're really hurting for active triggers and you are in a much more aggressive meta, this card is fine. It's a 2-drop 3K, draw a card, discard a card. There's nothing wrong with it. It's perfectly fine. It has the active trigger, which is good. It's up to you how you want to move your numbers around in order to do it. Again, I don't think you can cut the non-triggers, and if you do, you only trim 1, maybe 2 total, but definitely not any more than that. I think they're too valuable. But yeah, if you want to find room for it, go ahead and do that. No other cards really stood out to me as being worthwhile. I played with this Izumi. If she attacks and is not blocked, draw a card. I don't think that's going to be all that valuable. This Mustang is a fantastic card as well. Again, if you need more active triggers, I would honestly play this one over the Louis, depending how your play style wants to be. Being able to go, here's a 4K who during my turn, I have 2 or less cards in hand. He's a 5K getting over all of your bigger Louis and 5Ks and things like that. And when he attacks, if you have no cards in hand, draw a card. That synergy with the Raid Mustang is very good. Raid Mustang swings. I discard my hand because it's only a couple of cards anyways. Blow up that thing. Swing with this one. Draw a card. Very good setup. Very strong. Honestly, he's a good play. I just don't think he's flexible enough to warrant being placed into the deck as a must play. You can absolutely play him. Put him in, test it around. He could be insanely good. For me, I'm going to be sticking to the military is in trouble overplaying him. But I think that's going to be all for this video. Thank you all very much, and look out for the next one. Oh, wait. Before I do that, sorry, I didn't say how this matchup actually goes in the meta. So, if you're playing Louis, your blue matchup just got a lot better. They have to special him. If they're playing Rukia, raid over top of him or kill the Rukia. It doesn't matter. You're playing 8 specials, kill the Rukia. That's perfectly fine. You're okay doing that. It's worth it to untap this Louis. Now, the Squad 0 matchup is one that I'm kind of questioning right now. I think you have better low to the ground things that can attack at better rate and higher capabilities. They have more consistent removal. I think Squad 0 is slightly favored in the matchup, but that's based off of experience and knowledge. If they're not experienced with this deck, you're going to obliterate them. If they don't know how to threat access, if you just go, here's a Louis, and they're like, I have to do everything to kill him. Thank you. Yeah, like that's great. Awesome. And then you get more down and you're like, cool, I'm killing something every turn. Bye. And smashing in. That's going to be absurd. And if you have the surprise Edward who comes in active, taking a life, that's also going to be absurd. If you're anticipating playing against any of the decks that don't hit you until they're going to kill you, Green Saitama or the Tree deck, the Edward card is insane. Play him over Louis if that's what your meta looks like. But I don't think we're going to see a lot of that at Gen Con, personally. I will say the Gwaine matchup on this is kind of 50-50. You do want to put your May Hughes in the front line. They are going to kill it, but you're going to draw a card off of that. And you do want to push out with your 2K as a 3K if you're empty-handed. But again, they're going to kill it. And you're kind of okay with that. It comes down to whom draws better, and you have better card filtering. If you get a Louis in play and they just don't have a special to deal with him, or they have to double cards to deal with him, they're wasting multiple APs getting in their impactors before their impact runs out in order to deal with him. Again, that's really, really good. Into Toto, yeah, it doesn't hurt that much. You pull up the Riza, cool, I have a new Riza raid target. You pull up the Maze Hughes, if I'm down on cards, I'm just going to chump block and draw a card. Okay, that's great. What else do you got? What else are you going to do to me? It's very, very good. But yes, that's going to be the end of this video. Sorry for teasing you guys earlier with that. Thank you all very much for watching, and look out for the next one.